For much of the late 20th century, Thailand was held up as a promise. It was one of Asia's rising stars, an Asian tiger whose factories hummed, whose cities expanded, and whose future seemed firmly tied to growth. Bangkok became a symbol of confidence, investment, and momentum. Tourists arrived, multinationals followed, and millions of Thais felt that life was steadily moving forward. Thailand looked like a country that had found its place in the global economy. Today, that momentum has slowed to a crawl. Thailand is no longer collapsing, but it is no longer surging either. It exists in a kind of economic limbo, growing just enough to survive, but not enough to transform. While neighbors like Vietnam and Indonesia attract new industries and position themselves for the future, Thailand feels stuck, repeating old patterns while the world moves on. The roots of this stagnation run deep, and they are not primarily economic, they are political. For decades, Thailand has been trapped in a tug-of-war between two centers of power. On one side stands the traditional establishment, the military, senior bureaucrats, courts, and royalist networks. On the other side are elected politicians who claim popular mandates and promise reform. Instead of resolving this conflict through stable democratic institutions, Thailand has cycled endlessly between them. Elections bring new governments, then come protests, court rulings, or coups. Governments are dissolved, leaders are banned, constitutions are rewritten, and the cycle starts again. For investors and entrepreneurs, this creates a deadly problem: uncertainty. Long-term economic growth depends on predictability. Companies need to know that policies will last longer than a single administration, that regulations will not be reversed overnight, that contracts will be honored. In Thailand, that confidence has been eroded again and again. Each coup resets priorities, each legal ouster freezes decision-making. Each period of political tension puts reform on hold. As a result, Thailand has become cautious to the point of paralysis. While other countries aggressively compete to attract cutting-edge industries, Thailand often falls back on what it already knows: tourism, low to mid-level manufacturing, real estate. These sectors still bring money, but they do not drive innovation. They do not create the kind of high-value jobs needed in a modern economy. At the same time, wealth inside Thailand has become increasingly concentrated. Income inequality is extreme. A small elite controls a large share of national wealth, while millions of households struggle with rising costs and limited opportunity. This imbalance has consequences that go far beyond fairness. When most people are financially strained, they cannot spend. When they cannot spend, domestic demand weakens. And when domestic demand weakens, businesses hesitate to invest. Household debt has become another heavy chain. Thai families carry some of the highest household debt levels in the region. Loans cover everything from education to housing to daily survival. This debt suppresses risk-taking. People avoid starting businesses. Young workers delay families. Consumption slows. The economy becomes cautious and inward-looking, weighed down by obligations to the past. Meanwhile, Thailand's demographic clock is ticking loudly. The country is aging rapidly. Birth rates have fallen. The workforce is shrinking. Fewer young workers are entering the economy, while more older citizens require support. This shift puts pressure on public finances and reduces Thailand's long-term productive capacity. An aging society is not automatically doomed, but it demands adaptation. High productivity, advanced skills, technology-driven growth. And this is where Thailand faces its most dangerous gap. The global economy is entering an era defined by artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, semiconductors, and automation. These sectors reward countries that invest heavily in education, research, and innovation. Thailand, by contrast, has struggled to make that leap. Its education system often emphasizes rote learning over creativity. Research spending remains low, bureaucracy slows experimentation. As a result, Thailand risks being squeezed from both sides. It is no longer cheap enough to dominate low-wage manufacturing, but not advanced enough to lead in high-tech industries. This middle-income trap is exactly where economic momentum goes to die. Without innovation, productivity stagnates. Without productivity growth, wages stall. And when wages stall, inequality deepens further. Politics makes all of this harder. Every meaningful reform, whether in education, taxation, innovation policy, or labor markets, runs into the same wall: power struggles. Reforms threaten entrenched interests. They require long timelines. They demand trust between government and society. Thailand's repeated political resets destroy that trust before it can form. Young people see this clearly. Many of Thailand's most talented citizens look abroad for opportunity. They study overseas, they work overseas, some never return. This quiet brain drain further weakens the country's ability to reinvent itself. The people most capable of driving change often feel that the system will not let them. And yet, Thailand still has enormous potential. It has strong infrastructure, a strategic location, deep cultural influence, a population that has repeatedly shown resilience. The problem is not a lack of ability, it is a lack of alignment. Politics, economics, and society are pulling in different directions. Without political reform that stabilizes governance, reduces arbitrary intervention, and restores confidence in democratic processes, economic policy will remain reactive rather than visionary. Without tackling inequality and household debt, growth will remain shallow. Without investing seriously in education and innovation, Thailand will struggle to compete in the industries shaping the future. The danger is not sudden collapse, the danger is slow irrelevance. In a rapidly evolving global economy, standing still is the same as falling behind. Thailand's story today is not one of failure, but of delay. A country that once raced ahead now hesitates at every turn, trapped by unresolved power struggles and structural bottlenecks. Whether Thailand can escape this stagnation depends on a single, difficult question it has postponed for decades. Can it build a political system strong enough to support long-term economic transformation rather than repeatedly undermining it? If it cannot, the former Asian tiger risks becoming a cautionary tale, not of poverty but of wasted potential in a world that does not wait.